Welcome, everybody, to another episode of FYC Film Review. I'm your host, Gagne. With me, my co host, Naldo.
What's up, buddy? How's it going, everybody?
Welcome back, sir. What do we
Yeah.
have for everyone today?
Oh my gosh. This was another one that was recommended to us, and this one's called Sardar Udham. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that right, but this is one of the most serious movies that we have done here at FYC, and I'm not gonna lie, I had no idea what I was to expect. I did hear it was very serious and very brutal, but I was just not expecting it to hit really hard based on all these true events that happened. So yeah, it's one of those movies that will really do something to your soul when you watch it.
Yeah, I didn't know either. I remember just reading the synopsis when it was suggested and saying,
Hmm.
wow, this actually sounds like a really interesting movie. Let's check it out and see what we've got. And man, I went through a range of emotions from, being sick to, being shocked to being angry and just,
Yeah.
um, wow. I mean, it's a history lesson that you wish you didn't have to learn, and you wish that like you also did know ahead of time. Like there's a
Yeah.
lot to the world I feel like you can't cover in school, and this is one of those horrific events that you're kind of shocked with, like, why weren't we taught about that?
Right. That's the thing, right? It's I think he has a quote in it saying that if I don't do this whole thing would be just a footnote in your book. And this was such a horrific thing that
Hmm.
happened. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that had no idea that it's happened unless you've seen this movie or hear about it. I mean, this I had no idea how brutal it was, and it's about. I think it was his. I mean, his name is Udon Singh. That's his real name,
Udo
right?
Singh, yeah.
Udon Singh, who is a freedom fighter in his country, who's because the British Empire's overruling him, trying to take control of India, which happened in what the 20s, the 30s, and back in the day.
Sure.
And the British Empire is just evil. I mean, it's an evil thing that they're doing. And there's this massacre that happened in the 1919, and we don't get to see the massacre until the end of the movie. So the whole movie is basically about his life story, what happens to him, and how he came to be, and why he's doing it. But it's fascinating what he goes through and what changes him.
Yeah, it took me a minute in the beginning because you see almost what ultimately ends up being the end of the movie, where he assassinates the British
Dwyer.
officer who was kind of in charge of overseeing that area of India, and was ultimately the person who gave the orders to the general who went out, General Dyer, not to be confused
Dyer.
with the O'Dwyer.
Right. Yeah, that was confusing.
Uh, so he goes after him and he assassinates him, and then he's in jail, and then you're like,
Yeah.
okay, well, now what? You're
Right.
like, where are we going from here? Because I instantly was like, I need to know about this because this is a true story. I want to know what really happened. So I started digging as
Okay.
I'm watching the movie and realizing, like, okay, well, he died shortly after being arrested for this. He was caught.
Yeah.
So what are we going to see? And I was not expecting, and I hadn't gotten far enough to reading about what this all entailed to see the ending and see that massacre take place and realize that, like, those are atrocious events that were carried out on innocent people. It's it's one of those events that you're just like, you're shocked, and I'm even more appalled that, like, the ending credits, as they're kind of walking you through these events, to know that, like, there hasn't even been an apology to the
Yeah.
people of India for this. It hasn't even been 100 years that since Britain let go of their rule of India. Like, India didn't gain independence till 1947 from Britain. It was a very powerful movie, and I hate that it was powerful and moving because of the death toll and the people that suffered from this.
Yeah, it was eye-opening. It was eye-opening. I'm still trying to process what happened. It's I don't know. I don't really know what to say about this movie because it's based on true events, and the fact that this happened to, like you said, a bunch of innocent people who were basically slaughtered because they were protesting peacefully. It was just it's sickening. Throughout the movie, you get glimpse of Udon's
Udar.
life.
Udam?
Udon,
Udam. Sorry, you're right.
Udon, and when he's captured and they're torturing because they want him to give up all his associates and his friends, and he doesn't do it. Right? He doesn't do it. He's so true to his mission and what he wants to do. The torture scenes, how he gets tortured throughout the movie, is just brutal, all brutal, because they're trying to figure out why he assassinated him and who helped him. And just the torture scenes were, I mean, I thought the tortures were really bad. This was before the massacre, you saw it. So he went through hell. I mean, he went through hell just to get where he was at. He waited what, 20 or 19 years, 21 years, but
Yeah,
to assassinate Dwyer. So it's a lot to carry on him.
it is, and it's tough to say that like you liked a movie that is so heavy in this regard. I don't want to come off as seeming like coy me, like, oh, I really liked it. It was beautiful. Like, it's beautifully done. It's well crafted. The cinematography is gorgeous. It is so well directed. Shujit Sinkar was the director.
Okay.
Came out, a couple years ago on Amazon, and I feel like it's one of those movies that slid under the radar that more people, I'm surprised, just haven't talked about, because it's a gorgeous film. Like, it's a very tough subject matter. It is hard to watch that end. I found myself wishing they would have cut that shorter, but also understanding that you can't cut short what
Really happened.
ultimately, like, what really happened, and what this man witnessed, and what that town, just Amritsar, went through. And it man it just it I was solemn, I was quiet, I was shocked. It just, all the emotions, man, all the emotions. But it's an important film. Like, I think I truly feel like those are one of those movies where, like, we're better for having seen this.
I think you said something where you kind of wish the end was shorter because it was so awful. But I mean, there was times where I just kind of had to look away a little bit just
Sure.
because it was so gut-wrenching. I mean, these people were slaughtered. They were slaughtered, women, children. It was just horrific, horrific. But I think this is a movie that people need to watch, need to understand history. I mean, history, the world's history, there's so much bloodshed. There's so much bloodshed. We know about the big wars, but we don't know about these. I don't want to say this is a small event. This is a huge event that we just don't know about. So it's a definite watch. People need to watch it and go in with it and just, be prepared. You can't prepare yourself for this movie.
No.
You really can't.
No, you can't. But I think that it's just, again, it's one of those important movies to watch. It's done. It's very well crafted. That's all I can say. Is it just Vicky Kaushal, I believe it's how you say his last name, who played Udam, was brilliant. He all the emotions, man, he conveys them all. And his trial and the speech that he gives during his trial is powerful. And you watch this man who knows that he's fighting a lost cause, but still, like you said, seeks out vengeance 20 years later so that people can know what really transpired. And even then, it's like, even after that, like, how do you not know about something like this? It blew my mind. It absolutely blew my mind.
I don't have anything else. This movie just left me speechless, man, unless you have something else.
No, it's a rare time, I think, that I didn't feel like the movie was too long. Like, every time I was watching a scene, I was like, wait, what? Like, over and over again. And so it's one of those historical movies where I wanted to know more, and I still want to know more, and I still want to better understand that time in India and the suffrage that people went through.
Okay. We're gonna rate it. We're not gonna give any funny sayings or anything like that. No. I just don't think this movie just hits too hard, and I think we should just go to the rating.
Yeah. Happy to start it off.
Go for it.
I loved it. I loved the movie, man. I thought it was just so well done.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go with the 4. Like I said, I have a hard time saying I like this movie. It's hard to recommend a movie like this. I think it's important for people to watch it. I think because of how well it was done. because they gave you a succinct story of what this man's life was about.
Yeah.
Solid 4, man.
Okay, good. I'm right there with you, buddy. I'm gonna go with the 4. 4. This movie is a time in our, not even American history, I mean time in India's history that a lot of people don't know about, and I think people should know about it. Just it's history, and like I said, our history is just clouded in so much bloodshed that we don't even know about, and this is a story that people need to see. I'm gonna go with a 4. I really enjoyed it. Even though it was long, I think it needed to be long to tell the story,
Yeah.
about this martyr, this freedom fighter who he came off and he goes, I'm not a terrorist. I'm not, I don't hate these people, but he sought out vengeance based on the evil that was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was great. 4. I'm going with the 4 on this one, and it's something that people need to watch. So
Check it out, people. It is
yeah,
on Amazon. If you got Prime, it's free to watch, and
it
if
is.
not, rent it somewhere, because it is a well done movie and very important piece to history. So
Absolutely.
we appreciate the recommendation.
Yes.
We learned a lot, and I have a lot more to learn, and I'm grateful for it. So
Absolutely.
thanks for checking this review out, folks. I've been your host Gagne for FYC Film Review, and my partner Naldo.
Have a good one, everybody.
Until next time.